We shall commence this module by discussing development and underdevelopment. Economic growth and economic development seems to be synonymous but connotes different meaning in economic literature. Economic growth refers to a sustainable increase in real per capita income of a nation over a period of time. On the other hand, economic development implies economic growth plus a rise in standard of living of people. Economic development is a broader concept than economic growth. There are some important major study questions of economic development, viz. What is the exact relationship between phases of economic growth and income inequality? Does the process of economic growth really provide trickle-down effect and hence eliminating the poverty and unemployment of a nation? Does the process of economic growth also imply a balanced regional growth? Both economic and non-economic factors affect the process of economic development. In the era of globalization, both internal and external factors influence the economic growth. It is the capital accumulation through higher saving and investment, technological advancement and research and development, a large army of skilled human resources along with good governance responsible for the growth of nation. This has also been propounded by various macroeconomic models like Harrod-Domar, Solow-Swan and endogenous theory of growth. Given the dual economy in the underdeveloped nations and due to various market failures and government failures, these economies lag behind in the race of development. Prices of scarce resources do not reflect true opportunity cost and thereby not utilized in an efficient way. There operates a vicious cycle of poverty both on the demand side and supply side, which discourages saving and investment and hence the process of capital accumulation. There is also mass poverty, unemployment and illiteracy among the underdeveloped nations. According to the recent socio-economic statistics, situation is worst for sub-Saharan Africa and some other parts of Asia. After studying this module, you shall be able to know the meaning of economic development and economic growth, identify the characteristics of underdeveloped economies, understand the measures of economic development, know the causes and measures of inequality. Let us understand the characteristics of underdeveloped economies. The underdeveloped economies have these characteristics. Number one, the colonial exploitation by imperialist powers of Europe and West. Nearly all the underdeveloped nations have some colonial heritage. These nations have been the colonies of powerful imperialist nations which exploited them through various methods with free trade and drain of wealth, etc. Due to the imperialist policies, the economies of these nations have been destroyed. That is, there was hardly any real growth in agriculture, industry and other economic activities of these nations. This is also true in case of India, where Dutch, Portuguese, British and French etc. invaded the country in order to serve their own economic interests. The dependency school of thought propounded by Amin and Franklin is based on this notion only. It is exploitation of the underdeveloped economies by the developed economies responsible for underdevelopment of the nations. The next feature of these economies is high population. The underdeveloped economies are generally characterized as highly populated economies. It is the high population of these nations which is impeding their real growth. Given the limited resources, it is not possible to satisfy the needs of ever-growing population unless the rate of growth of resources is faster than the growth rate of population. Low level of saving and investment is another feature. Underdeveloped economies are characterized by low level of savings and income. There prevails a vicious circle of poverty which acts both on demand and supply side. A low level of income implies low demand, which in turn implies low investment by the entrepreneurs and the low income at the end. High level of fiscal deficit and inflation. Underdeveloped economies are supply constrained economies where there is always a scarcity of resources due to supply side bottlenecks. These economies are inflationary economies due to excess demand of the essential agricultural and industrial goods. The government also plays a critical role in influencing the market outcomes. High fiscal and revenue deficits of government financed through excessive borrowing from the market causes rise in interest rate and thus crowding out effect. Hence, the private investment gets discouraged. Lack of infrastructure. Having the world-class infrastructure is an essential condition for an economy to move on the trajectory of growth. Infrastructure can be bifurcated into economic infrastructure and social infrastructure. Economic infrastructure consists of means of transportation, communication, water, gas and energy resources, etc. Whereas the social infrastructure is measured in terms of health, education, sanitation and housing, etc. There is a general lack of under-provisioning of both types of infrastructure in the underdeveloped economies. The next feature is high dependencies on agriculture. According to the Nobel laureate Simon Kuznets, a structural transformation takes place when the importance of agriculture in the economy reduces and that of industry and service sector rises. The pace of transition is very slow. Still, more than 50% of total population is earning their bread and butter through primary sector in the underdeveloped nations, while only 3 to 4% workforce is engaged in agriculture in the countries like US and UK. Underdevelopment of industrial and service sector. These economies have underdeveloped state of industrial sector and the service sector. Most of the industries are consumer goods industries and there is a lack of capital goods, basic and heavy industries. These industries are run based on old traditional techniques which are quite slow and inefficient. Not only this, but the people who are operating and managing industrial sector are not skilled properly and are not properly trained. Public sector enterprises are highly suffering from inefficiency as they are handled by a class of bureaucracy officers instead of the market experts. High dependence on trade. These economies are primarily agriculturally dependent. Manufacturing and service trade remains abysmally low. Export of primary articles has both inelastic price and income demand, and therefore contribution of trade to foreign exchange is also very low. On the other hand, import of these nations include manufactured goods and services which have high demand elasticities. High imbalance of payment account. These economies have high trade deficit and overall balance of payment deficits. These economies are primarily agriculturally based economies and export mainly agricultural products, while mostly imported goods are manufactured goods. The unit value of agricultural produce is very low, while price of unit value of manufacturing products is high. So this fact goes against the welfare of these economies and the result is overall deficits. Likewise, there is not much export of service trade in these economies. Underdeveloped financial and capital markets. There is a dualism found in financial and capital market of the underdeveloped economies. Dualism implies the existence of two separate markets independent of each other in a country. There is a lack of integration of financial markets. Participants have information asymmetries in the market. Now we shall move on to discuss the sustainable development and its measurement. A new concept of development is the sustainable development. It refers to environmentally friendly economic development. It aims at satisfying the need of present consumption without reducing the resources for the need of future generation. It aims at achieving intergenerational equity. Green GDP or environmentally adjusted GDP is the measure of sustainable development. It is the amount of national income adjusted for the cost of pollution and depletion of natural resources. There are two concepts related to sustainable development, viz. Weak sustainability and the strong sustainability. Weak sustainability implies that total value of physical, human and natural capital should not deplete, while strong sustainability implies that only natural stock of capital should not deplete. Weak sustainability is a wider concept than the strong sustainability. Now let us discuss the measures of economic development. There are various popular measures of development which are being discussed here. The first is per capita income. As a raw measure of development does not take into account the following things. It does not look at the income inequality among the different people. It does not include the human development indicators like literacy, health and knowledge. It does not adjust the cost of polluting the environment. It does not include the various aspects of political, social freedom as emphasized by Amartya Sen. Only official, not the unofficial income is reported. It implies gross underestimation of national income due to underground economic activity. Second is physical quality of life index. Developed by Morris in 1979, it includes the life expectancy at age 1, literacy rate at age 15 and the infant mortality rate. A dimensional index is created for each variable by dividing the maximum value minus actual value with the maximum value minus minimum value. It takes average of dimensional index of all three variables. The third is Human Development Index. It was developed by Indian economist Amartya Sen and Pakistani economist Mehboob ul Haq, and every year is presented by UNDP. Variables taken are life expectancy, knowledge and real per capita income by PPP method. All variables are equally weighted. No reason to give equal weights. 2/3 weight is given to the adult enrollment ratio, while 1/3 weight to the primary, secondary and tertiary sector. It includes enrollment but does not look at the dropout rates of children. A dimensional index is created for each variable by dividing the maximum minus actual value with the maximum minus minimum value. The value of all dimension indices can vary from 0 to 1, and then the countries are ranked according to their level of development. Fourth is Gross Happiness Index. The term gross national happiness was coined in 1972 by Bhutan's fourth Dragon King Jigme Singay Wangchuk. It includes sustainable development, cultural values, natural environment and good governance as the elements of development. And these 4 elements are further divided into 9 elements. The 9 subdivided elements are psychological well-being, health, knowledge and education, time use, cultural diversity and resilience, good governance, community vitality, ecological diversity and resilience, and living standards. The Gross National Happiness Index is a single number index developed from 33 indicators categorized under 9 domains. Moving on to discuss what actually we mean by poverty. Poverty A person is said to be poor if it is not able to afford his basic essential necessities. Necessities implies without which he can't survive. However, there is no consensus what is essential or not for a person. In general, poverty is measured as the reasonable amount of money income to keep the people out of the clutches of poverty. However, the emphasis in India is on the minimum standard. Poverty line is measured in terms of minimum calorie intake taken by a person per day. It is 2400 calorie per person per day in rural areas and 2100 calorie per person per day in urban areas as per decided by the Medical Council of India. Now let us look at the causes of poverty. The first cause is lack of productive assets. There is a skewed distribution of assets, for example, land in the society. A section of people in the society has high concentration of total wealth while they constitute a small percentage of population. On the other hand, majority of the population, small and marginal farmers, has very less percentage of total wealth. The second one is lack of quality education or any skill. Another reason for poverty in the developing country is a lack of formal schooling and lack of any special knowledge for the employment purpose. Third is larger size of household. It reduces the size of per capita cake. Larger size of household actually both the cause and effect of the poverty. More children are viewed as helping hands to the family. Lack of opportunities of employment generation. It is the primary cause of the poverty in India. It is again related with creation of the job opportunities in both public and private sector. It is true that it is the responsibility of a welfare state to provide the employment opportunities, but it cannot provide the employment to all within the public sector. Given the already huge size of government administration and privatization, it is not likely to create greater number of jobs. Inflation. It implies a constant increase in the price level of the economy. It is very detrimental to the growth process. However, a mild inflation is accepted and viewed as lubricant for the economy. Inflation snatches hard-earned real value of the money income. It increases the intensity of poverty by taking away the purchasing power of the people. Now we shall discuss the consequences of poverty. First is larger size of population. As is described earlier, that in order to tackle the curse of poverty, poor tend to have more and more children in order to have more and more money income. More children are viewed as additional source of earning. The second is hunger and malnutrition. The state of abject poverty leads to people to starve and suffer from malnutrition. They do not have even the food for maintaining their subsistence level. They can be easily caught and are vulnerable to serious diseases. Third is adverse effect on productivity of the person. Malnutrition and starvation can lead to loss of productive capacity and loss of productive working hours. It is the wastage of human resources which could be utilized. Fourth is increase in inequality. The affluent society on the one hand and miserable state of poverty on the other hand widens the gap between rich and poor. It makes rich more rich and the poor more poor. Let us now understand the measures of poverty. The first one is head count ratio. The ratio of people living below the poverty line to total population is called head count ratio. It is very crude measure of poverty and does not take into account the sensitivity of poverty among the poor people. Head count ratio is equal to HC upon total population. The next is poverty gap ratio. The poverty gap index is a measure of intensity of poverty. It is defined as the average poverty gap in the population as a proportion of the poverty line. PGR or the poverty gap ratio is equal to summation Z minus Yj upon Z, where J is equal to 1 to N divided by N, where J is the amount of income denoting poverty line, N is the number of population, Yj is the income of the jth person falling below the poverty line, and Q is the total number of the poor persons. Poverty gap index ignores the effect of inequality between the poor. It does not capture differences in the severity of poverty amongst the poor. Skewed poverty gap. The relative poverty among the poor was the limitation of the poverty gap ratio is solved by this index. In order to calculate this, we take the average of the square of the poverty gap ratio by placing higher weight on a relatively higher poor person. The squared poverty gap index is one form of the weighted sum of poverty gaps with the weight proportionate to the poverty gap. So SPGER is equal to summation J is equal to 1 to Q Z minus Yj divided by Z whole square to be divided with N, where Z is the amount of income denoting poverty line, N is the total number of population, Yj is the income of the jth person falling below the poverty line, and Q is the total number of poor person. Forster-Greer-Thorbecke metric. It is a general class of measure of poverty. For alpha is equal to 0, it is equal to head count ratio. For alpha is equal to 1, it is equal to poverty gap ratio. For alpha is equal to 2, it is equal to squared poverty gap ratio. So FGT alpha is equal to J is equal to 1 to Q Z minus Yj divided by Z raised to power alpha to be divided with N. SANE index of poverty. SANE, sometimes referred to P-SANE, is related to poverty gap index or PGI. It is calculated as P-SANE is equal to H multiplied by ZZ plus PGI multiplied by 1 minus ZZ, where H is the head count ratio and ZZ is the income Gini coefficient of only the people below the poverty line. Now we can look at the causes of inequality. Number 1, unequal distribution of assets. Highly unequal distribution of productive assets in the hands of few causes inequality in the society. Number 2, improper taxation. Principally, taxation is viewed as the correcting factor for reducing inequalities, but improper use of taxation policy has burdened the common man and made him poorer. There has not been active use of progressive taxation in total taxation. Poor people are more vulnerable to indirect taxation as they are not exempted from paying these taxes. Number 3, black money. Huge amount of black money, that is nearly 50% of the officially reported income, is earned in India, and likewise might be the figures for the other underdeveloped countries. Lack of employment opportunities. People do not have employment opportunities to get a fair chance to come out of the poverty, so they remain poor. Lack of employment generation in the underdeveloped countries causes poverty and inequality. Poor implementation of minimum wage laws. Wage laws are not properly implemented in the underdeveloped nations. They appear good only on the paperwork, and there are really no efforts to get these laws implemented. Rising level of corruption. The widespread dragon of corruption eats out the public funds sanctioned for the developed and welfare schemes, and therefore these funds can't reach the actual beneficiaries. Actually, issue of inequality can't be removed unless there is removal of poverty. Both these are interconnected issues. Now we will discuss the measures of inequality. The first one is range. It is the difference between the income of the richest person and income of the poorest person in the group. It is only a crude measure of inequality. It does not take into account the fact that transfer of income from a rich person but not the richest to the poor person and not the poorest reduces the quality. If there is equal distribution of income, then range takes a zero value. It is not a unit-free measure of inequality. So range is equal to maximum value minus minimum value. The second one is standard deviation. It is the average of the sum of the square of its deviations of a series from its mean value. Hence, standard deviation, that is sigma, is equal to the under root of the summation of xi minus mu whole square divided by n. Absolute mean deviation. It is a unit free of inequality and can be used to compare the inequality of two different groups. Its calculation takes the following steps. Calculate absolute difference between incomes of the individuals and mean of income and multiply it with the corresponding frequency of the data. Sum it up and divide the entire value by mean of the income. Mean deviation is equal to summation fi modulus of the difference of xi and mu to be divided with summation fxi, where mu is the mean of the income distribution. Kuznets ratios. These are the pieces of the Lorenz curves and are measured in the ratio. For example, it is expressed as the ratio of income of the top 5% people to bottom 5% of people. If top 5% of the rich earns 30% of total income in the society and bottom 5% people earn 2% of total income, the Kuznets ratio for this given information is 15. If a Kuznets ratio is greater than unity, then it shows inequality. Higher the value of Kuznets ratio, higher is the inequality. Lorenz curve. It refers to the graphical representation of inequality. Individuals are arranged according to ascending order of income. The vertical axis measures the percentage of income in ascending order and the horizontal axis measures the percentage of population in ascending order. The line inclined at 45 shows the equal level of distribution. Farther the Lorenz curve from the line of equality, greater is the inequality. Gini coefficient. It is the popular measure of inequality which is widely used in empirical research. It takes all the observation into account and takes the interpersonal inequality. The value of Gini coefficients ranges from 0 to unity. An equal distribution takes 0 value while complete inequality takes unity value. So Gini, that is G, is equal to summation of summation fi fj and difference of xi and j divided by 2n into nu. Kuznets curve hypothesis. According to Kuznets curve hypothesis, there is an inverse relationship between economic growth and inequality. In the initial phase of economic development, income inequality rises with economic growth and then later it follows negative relationship with economic growth. In the initial stage of economic growth, the concentration of income is in the hand of few people only, and as they possess the ownership of the modes of production, others get only peanuts in the distribution of factor income. It is only when the government intervenes in the economic system through development programs for the poor, land distribution programs, employment generation, poverty elimination schemes, labor laws, instruments of progressive taxation, monopoly restriction, Competition Promotion Act, and efforts to check on black economy generation causes reduction in income distribution in the society. Let us now summarize what we have discussed in this module. The characteristics of underdeveloped economies are colonial exploitation by imperialist powers of Europe and West, high population, low level of saving and investment, lack of infrastructure, etc. The measures of economic development are per capita income, physical quality of life index, human development index, and gross happiness index. The causes of poverty are larger size of population, hunger and malnutrition, increase in inequality, etc. The causes of inequality are unequal distribution of assets, improper taxation, black money, lack of employment opportunities, poor implementation of minimum wage law, prevalence of child labor and underpayment of wages to women, and rising level of corruption among many. Measures of inequality are range, standard deviation, absolute mean deviation, Kuznets ratio, Lorenz curve, Gini coefficient and Kuznets curve hypothesis.